Hello, and welcome to the Deepbluerenegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deepbluerenegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 303. Today is Saturday, January 25th, 2020, and I'm glad you could join me today. I am recording much later than usual, but it's gonna be a pretty crazy day, so I decided that, or tomorrow's gonna be a pretty crazy day, so I was like, just record now and then spend the entire day uploading the video. Well, actually, this should have a boost because I'll be able to upload during the evening, and that will help a lot. And then also made a change where my computer doesn't go to sleep automatically, even when it's plugged in. So, I did not need that battery saving feature. So, hopefully it'll go a little bit more smoothly. So recording inside, there might be some mouse noise. My husband is playing Age of Empires 2, but he can't hear what's going on because he's wearing headphones. Maybe he can, who knows, it's a mystery. So, oh wait, he does know, maybe.
What?
I'm recording. He just noticed. Oh well, but he's like right there. Because this is an itty bitty apartment, so. But, there's raccoon danger if I go outside, so best not to. And I don't know how many lights it would take in order to make it look okay, because it's like 10. So, whatever. It'll be fine. So, I think this will be very short, but who knows. So I did manage to do a couple of things. There were to be gently zhuzh, as you do. So, did a couple of things in order to sort of work out the community stuff, and interestingly, whatever, it's a small world after all. So it's definitely the case where, so I messaged Anna Littlestein on Instagram. It's like, hey, I'm new to San Francisco. I want to get hooked up in the community. What should I do? And she was like, visit Firebird Yards on Saturday. And sadly, I totally forgot to, what would it be? Or I forgot to look up her name beforehand. But it was the case where the person who was, the cashier at Firebird Yards sort of gave me the rundown in a lot of the different communities in San Francisco, and so it sounds like the first knit group to try is one that's happening Tuesday nights, where it's a lot of women engineers, so sounds like my people. So, and what would it be? And it was sort of the summary is San Francisco's not that big. It's not that hard to go a little bit further to get somewhere you want to be. So, as such, it seems like that's going to be a-okay. And then I also ended up going to the Black Squirrel in Berkeley. So that's, I don't know, at most like 2 miles away from my office. And they have their knit night on Thursday. So I went to the Black Squirrel on Friday, and that was the wrong time, and that was like when I could go to Oakland at the bring your own chair, but I don't have any chairs to bring that night, or I'd have to like buy a folding chair or something like the the Oakland annex of Black Squirrel Fibers is, they don't have a bathroom, so it's okay. Maybe it makes sense to participate later, but it doesn't quite make sense at the moment. So I ended up going there. There were tons of people at that night. There were more people, I think, than usual. But I'm definitely going to return, because there are a couple of nice things about it. First off, like, nice group of people. Second off, the traffic was way less bad at like $9.50 than it was at whatever $5.50, and the toll is $2 less. So it's just a win all around. So I was really glad that I finally got to go. I wasn't able to go previously because of the house hunting. So, and that's why tomorrow's going to be busy, is house hunting, because you can make so many jokes about the small space, but the nursery local and I miss all of our crap. We have some of our crap with us. We have enough to do our hobbies, like for a year at least. But it would be good to actually be proper settled, if you know what I mean. So, all of my knitting has been the same project. It is the V-neck boxy. It will accept all of my knitting. It will soak it right up. At this point, I am pretty sure I am going to run out of the black mohair silk. But I am willing to play yarn chicken. But I am willing to wait until I properly run out of yarn before getting more. As you do. So it was the case where, in order to make it stretch a little bit more, I decided I went with like a contrasting collar and cuff sort of arrangement, which is fine. But I was still like nervous about how much yarn I had, which I think was rightfully so. Like I probably had enough yarn in order to make the sweater as written, but I didn't want to have I didn't want to make a cropped boxy. I wanted to have a long boxy. And what I'm working on right now is actually a high-low hem. So I had about half of one of the blueprint skeins left when I had concluded that I had knit in the round for long enough. And this, I ended up trying it on, so after I put ribbing on, it's going to be where I want it to be in the front. So I was like half a skein into whatever, whizzing around in the round, and then I had one more blue skein left to go. So I very recently joined on that final skein. As you do. But because I had an extra skein and I had the gray skein, which I ended up subbing for a different yarn, but that's fine. This means that instead of having excess black, I now have excess of the merino cashmere silk. So, but we shall see. I'm willing to run out of black before I make that decision. But because I incorporated the black into all of those cuffs, like, now this mohair silk yarn is super dreamy, so having some extra black probably isn't the end of the world, but it is also expensive per skein, so it's getting pretty close to that, whatever. Like, it's pretty expensive, so, so it's like, I don't have to, but it really does make it, so, like, I don't think I would rip out anything that I've already knit, to do that, so. Or maybe I'll luck out and there'll be someone who is destashing some, I'm not sure. But I'm just looking at this black skein and being like, like this is probably okay for one more ball, because it's definitely fairly depleted. I'm just pouring from the outside. But, I don't know, I don't think it's too full couple of balls left, so. Oh well, such is life. So, so I'm now knitting and purling. I'm doing, I started my short rows at the halfway point, and I'm actually sort of going around the front with them. So, and I managed to get pretty decent length done on this, since the last time that I talked with you guys, which wasn't that long ago, so whatever. I last podcast on Monday, and we are to Saturday, but oh well, that makes it work. So, we've got this. Luckily the fish tank lights are off now, it's the time of darkness. And you can sort of see how the high-low is beginning to take shape. So I probably at this point have a good 2, maybe even 3 extra inches in the back. So here's my progress keeper here. So I've actually managed to get quite a lot done. Not full in the round rows, but not too crazy. And then right now I'm actually pretty close to turning point, so like that's pretty deep. I decided to do a fairly tight cadence of short rows, so it's making for a pretty steep angle for that high-low, and then I'll just put 1x1 ribbing all around it to finish it off. So we'll see how everything comes together. Basically, I'm using the black yarn. It's about twice as much yardage per skein as the blue, or whatever, the pebble. So I have this left, and I'll probably actually have some extra of this, but this is all going to go to the ribbing. And while this is pretty nice, it's obviously much darker looking when you incorporate the black mohair silk with it. So I'm committed. Not like it would be a lot to look back, but I think I like it fuzzy. Like this is, I was afraid, like what would it be? Like I definitely had like a commercial mohair sweater in high school, like before I was a proper knitter. And that definitely had some prickle to it, so maybe that was mohair, not kid mohair, because this kid mohair is lovely. And the other thing is that this yarn, the pebble, is very tender. It's very easy to break it. So the mohair silk, it's actually adding a lot of structure and toughness to it, in addition to softness. So I'll just do with it, but because I would also really like to be done with this too. So, but I still have a lot of this yarn to go, so I'm not done yet. And then, of course, none of the yarn wants to actually stay in the bag, so oh well. It makes it much harder to feed. But it has fun. And what was it? It was sort of funny. So the person who is the cashier for the Black Squirrel had commented. It was like, I can't believe you brought something black to knit night. I'm like, it's a boxy. It's just stockinette. I don't even have to look at it. Like I have to pay like a small amount of attention with the short rows, but I get a warning with the markers that say, oh, it's about time to pay attention. So, not too crazy. Let's see if I... Okay, so last Monday, or whatever, on Monday I showed you this finished bobbin. I did manage to finish another bobbin of the teal, so I'm doing, this is the Ginny the Fleece Spin. I know it feels like forever, but this was the halfway mark on the project, so did I want to finish this project for the end of December? Yeah. So, and I just started the last bag of teal. So, that's a pretty good place for it. So I just started the last bag of teal. Let's see if we can. We're just gonna have to disturb the ears a little more. So I just barely started it. You can still see my leaders, the majority of the stuff there. So it will be not too crazy to work on. Hopefully I'll have a finished game of that one next week, but I still have most of that 20 grams to go. So, what would it be? For some reason, these last two, whatever, bobbins had a decent amount of stuff that wasn't very well, separated by the hackle, and it must have just been some of the early stuff that I had pulled off or something, I'm not sure. But this one is spinning really nice, so that's good. And then I have, 4 more skeins to finish from there. So I think, what would it be? So, I think what I want to do is actually probably be blue, purple, but these are the leftovers I have thus far. So I have a big ball of teal, a little ball of teal, and then a little ball of purple. I'm assuming that I will have leftovers of purple from I'm assuming that I'm going to have leftovers of purple from both of my other combination skeins, because I just had so much less blue come off, or my grading between seconds and top between my blue was a little bit more stringent than the other colors. Whatever. So it'll be fine. It's just like so not too crazy. And then this project did get a little bit of love at the Black Squirrel. I found out that they have like a spin-in like every second Sunday, so I may need to figure out what group I actually want to take a part of. The only problem with with that is you have to pay the toll to cross the bridge. So this is fine when I already have to do it for work. It's maybe slightly more lame for not that reason. So, but I did a little bit of spinning because I believe her name was Amber. She apparently works at the Blackswell Annex. Had some questions about how to get better at drafting, and so I was demonstrating parking capacitance for her, and so hopefully that helps her out. But yeah, no, it was good to meet a lot of people. Definitely positive. So we'll find out what the right amount of knitting group is. It's not like I want to spend like oodles of time in this little box. So we'll figure something out. Since I am with the Jersey Local one, having the swinging 3-knit nightlift style probably will not resume. I was back in Albuquerque. Like, reference the first 10 episodes if you want to know about that lifestyle. Such is life. So, this got a little bit of love. I did have a nice chat with my grandparents tonight, so I called my grandpa earlier and left him a message, but they just independently decided to call me because my grandpa, I don't know, my aunt was the one who had the little voicemail message for him, and is like, if he ever discovers this and finds his way, he might get back to you. It was like, yep. So they wanted to find out what was going on with the job and let me know about the socks, and the socks were great, and so I will probably be casting on a similar sort of pair, probably a different pattern, but probably a similar sort of stitch count with the sock yarn. That's probably hanging in the bag. Yeah. So, got everything I need for socks in here, and socks are going to be a pretty good carrying around project. So, I may need to browse some sock patterns and figure out something that's going to work. What would it be? It was like this pair is going to be more sedate. The other pair was very wild, and I sort of had that. What would it be? That like small laughter. It was like, I know you're not wearing them out in public. It was like, yeah, well, that's true. So, this is super duper gorgeous. Gift from my mother-in-law, because she believes in the cause of knitting my grandpa's socks. So that might be starting. Or would it be? So I have a month until I see them again, and then I have a whole week of vacation. So it's entirely possible that I might be able to get it done in time. Especially, I don't know, I'll have to decide which way I want to break on finishing the sweater, because I do a lot of spinning at home when I am home. So, well, we shall see. But this is probably going to be the next project, now that I've actually found out about the happiness of the socks. And the good news is, they're actually going to find a way to get the pair down to Mexico, and so I can do a repair on that pair, so there aren't holes. It's just thin, and thin you can duplicate stitch. So I might be able to get some extra life out of those ones. My grandma theorized it was because she couldn't wash them enough, but I didn't have the heart to tell her that you should wash wool quarterly. I know, but wool you wear every day. I don't know. It should be a quarterly sort of thing. So, with the changing season. So, what would it be? And I suppose with all this close proximity to the Deersay level, I did discover that, so we really want the Maritz pattern as hand warmers. And so I have the yarn with me. I got that other blue skein of yarn instead of the red skein because he didn't want red. Red is totally his color, so I don't know. But so I got this perfect blue. I got the black already when I got the red originally. I have the pattern as a PDF. I ended up scanning it and putting it in my Dropbox, so I don't even need the book. I'm gonna make it work. So I'll probably be knitting those with zeros or double zeros in order to make that work. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to start that, but that's also a possibility. And then there's also, I don't know whether or not this might still be in effect, but, so, Ellie of Skein Gear, just turned 30, and so she had a 30% off sale on her birthday, so I ended up getting 2 of her patterns. I got, Spring Rain, and, Easter. So one of them is this gorgeous gradient thing with like pine trees and like falling snow. And then Eastbray is just, it's like a comfy oversized yoke with this very gorgeous geometric, like dispersed geometric colorwork pattern on the yoke. And they're, so at 30% off, it definitely made it very easy to find, but she still has a 20% off sale, so if you were interested in getting one of her patterns, that would be good. So I may be participating in her garment along, so she's having a year-long knit a skein-deer garment pattern, so not too crazy there. Right now, I guess I'm not feeling a massive project. So it'd be the case where there's this amorphous blob of knitting that I would like to do, but I haven't quite decided, and I don't know if this is like a lack of knitting mojo just because the boxing is going on forever. It's a lovely pattern, no problems, so. But yeah, no, it's been going on for a pretty long time. Or if I want to just have more sweaters, because it's always sweater weather in the Bay, because it's always 57. I'm not going to be able to wear an alpaca sweater, but the more fingering weight sweaters I have in play, the better. So is a case where it's like, do I want to start the weekender? Do I want to do a color work thing? I don't know what else I have available. Do I want to knit another Violante? I don't know. Like, big projects are feeling pretty meh right now, but who knows. I've also not been doing a particularly good job of finding knitting time, so what would it be? Like, I've tried, like, sometimes I remember to bring my knitting with me lunch, but I don't take it out, so. What you see there is the stash in exile right by the door to the outside world. So we're talking this top thing. Oh wait, I would actually have to point. So that is my spin the bin fiber and my knitting knotting. That is a lot of my tools hanging out right there. That is a lot of the yarn that ended up getting moved with the Dear Sweet Lovely one. And then the bottom was yarn that I ended up getting over here. And I don't think I have, or like I have some fiber that's actually in the hallway of the apartment on the outside. I figure it's not the end of the world. So that has my specially built cardboard box for my wheel. It has my Clemis and Clemis fiber from last weekend. Some of my tools are also out there as well. So I may just keep them where they are. So I think I have some socks that need to be darned that are currently protecting all of my Jenkins spindles. As you do. But I tried to keep as much of it together as I could, though not all of it was practical to be here, because there isn't a lot of room, and the Drusilla one has been occupying it for a year before me, so it's a little bit hard to jimmy things around. So right now the outlet for the stove is also the outlet for the coffee grinder, and to be fair, the coffee grinder does get used slightly more. But there is no oven, so that greatly decreases the amount of, or the variety of food that can be made. I want things to be baked, I have to go outside. Oh well. Such is life. So, but that sort of gives you a flavor for where I am right now. It'd be I don't know, I guess it's probably easiest to answer Lou's question, because I have it like open, but I haven't answered it yet. But it was like, what do I think of San Francisco? So, what would it be? I would say definitely quite a lot of eating. I would say in terms of sexual preferences, like way more diverse than way more diverse than I ended up growing up, and probably in Dallas as well. So, so it'd be the case where definitely, whatever, running into, and whatever, and this isn't a big deal, but like way more transgender people, for example, so that was something that just wasn't as much, or something that I haven't been really exposed to. There we go, words. So there are definitely some very beautiful and cool things about living in the city. To be said, there's also like a very substantial homeless population, and definitely some people on the streets who are very troubled. Like, what would it be? So it's very bizarre. Like, I thought sort of in Dallas there was a very striking difference between like the very rich and the very poor, but I would say it's an order of magnitude more on both sides when you're talking about San Francisco. So, what would it be? Like the rich are spectacularly more rich and the poor are spectacularly more poor. What would it be? I would say it has been, I've really sort of enjoyed beginning to connect with the communities here, in terms of like my coworkers and people I've met at the local yarn shops and that sort of thing. So, like, it's gonna turn out fine. What would it be? I'm probably like hurting a little bit because like gas is $1 more per gallon. Not that that matters too much with an itty bitty gas tank, but as you do. And I would say, or would it be, there definitely are some like additional challenges with, say, for example, much harder to like get a driver's license and register your car here because there are just so many people here. So, so it's a lot of humanity in a very small area. So I, like, in Dallas, we ended up living in suburbia, and we could have all of our suburban things, and we could just venture in the city when we felt like it. And even then, we probably didn't venture that far into it. It was more just to get far enough in to find our obscure hobby stuff. Like, in San Francisco, we are in city. So this is stretching me a little bit as like whatever, as someone who is whatever from a not very dense part of Michigan. So, and what would it be? It'd be the case where I grew up fairly suburban. So, so it's stretching me for sure. What would it be? I would say the neighborhood my husband wants to live in, like, you can see daylight between the houses, and that's super duper exciting to him. So, at some point we will achieve victory, but that wasn't this week, so. Like, just to give you a sense, we did make an offer on a house, and the winning bid was $200,000 more. Like, you could buy a house for that. So, like, at some point we will achieve victory, but there's about this group of 10 people, and it may be that every single one of the group of 10 people is going to outbid us before we get ours, but whatever, like, there's only so much we can do. So, but would it be the case where, as with many things, like, we plan to be in a place long term, and if it doesn't work out, we can move somewhere else, like, or hopefully our company's paying for it. So, that's not too crazy. Let's see. Any other things? I believe it should be possible to podcast next week. We will be into February then. Not that I really care about, like, that's like Super Bowl weekend, isn't it? Maybe. So, the San Francisco 49ers are in the Super Bowl, so I don't know how wackadoodle everyone's going to be. it's in Miami, it's far away. Whatever. It should be fine. So I don't anticipate any changes because of that. So, and hopefully next week I can be outside, but if it turns out I'm spending a lot of the daylight hours searching for a house, then oh well, it's not like this is terrible. At the very least, like, it's a pretty white light in here, so I didn't bother to pull out the studio lights. Like, I would have had to install one right over the Deerslayer level one, and I don't think he wasn't moving that much. The other one would have been in line with the fish tank, so whatever, such is life. So, with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.